Welcome. This is going to be the Pos 1 Riki guide. No matter whether you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced in your Dota journey or in your Riki hero journey, this guide is here to accentuate that and to make sure that you're on the right pathway to finding success. There has been no better time than to learn Pos 1 Riki besides multiple years ago. So if you're looking for a new hero to add to your pool, I think you can find great success with Riki, and I'm here to help you in that decision. So, what are we covering today? Well, we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. I'm going to skip out on the extra basic fluff. I'm going to assume you know the abilities and what they do, and if you don't, I'll link down my Riki mid video, which has a complete section that goes over all the abilities in detail. So, besides that, we're going to be covering three main topics. Obviously, the builds that I highly recommend, the decision trees that you can make throughout the game, and then the item timings, and kind of how do I get to the main part of Riki's power spike, which is the diffusal ags. And if you're looking for some gameplay or anything like that, there's hundreds and hundreds of hours you can watch on my YouTube on the live channel where I played a numerous amount of Riki games. There's so many and they're so easy to find. So if you like what you see, make sure to like and subscribe. Also follow me on Twitch. I stream pretty much daily, so if you want to see live Riki gameplay, I'm the place for it. All right, let's start with the builds. For builds, Riki has become very simple with this patch. With the removal of Kanda, he really doesn't have too many options, but I think that's a better thing, especially if you're picking it up, there's less variables that you need to worry about. So, what does Riki like in the laning phase? He likes small effective items, so as you can see, we're going to be building up an Orb of Corrosion, a wand, and getting raindrops every time they come available. Into it treads and diffusal. He likes small effective items, and all of these are super cost effective, so get them every game. After that, the diffusal, he's going to be looking to go into an ags, and that is pretty much every single game. If you're going another item, it's generally because the game is too hard that you can't accommodate for it, or it's just probably just a loss. Yeah, and it's out of desperation. You will have to gauge that for yourself, but you should always go an ag second item if you can. Then becomes probably the hardest decision of all. Do we need a shard? If we don't need a shard and we're not against, numerous amounts of Solar Crests, Dazzles, Oracles, any of these big saves, Abaddon, Tinker, shields, and heals and stuff like that, then we're going to not go the shard. But if we are against those heroes, we are going to go the shard straight after the ags. 1400 gold, very effective, shuts them out completely. Other than that, our next priority on the list is going to be looking at, do we really need a mana or a BKB? If the answer is no, and we can survive the fights without that, which you can for a majority of fights if your team is playing, then we're going to go Revenant's Brooch. It allows us a lot of lethality so that we can kill a lot of heroes we couldn't have killed before without it, especially if we went the other items instead. Then we'll be looking for the mana. Do we need the mana for Dispel? Mana is not too bad compared to Revenant's Brooch. And then the final option is BKB. We want to avoid BKB as much as possible. It doesn't really play into the Riki playstyle. And funnily enough, BKB just isn't really a Riki item. You're a poke hero that can get in and out with ease once you know what you're doing. And BKB doesn't really play into that. It's more of an all-in item. But go it if you need it, or go it if you're stomping the game and you don't want to lose your lead. Besides that, obviously we can still pick up blood grenades in the lane to help us get kills. Riki is one of the best blood grenade carriers in the game easily because not only does it give it the damage he needs, but he's very easy to use it because he has a blink he can't miss it. And it also helps him stay on top of the target. So that is going to cover it for the builds. We will go into it deeper. What in the decision tree, why you would go some items over the other, and the thoughts that you can have in the head to make those decisions. But this should cover it up really quickly and really easily. So I'm going to quickly go over the rules of Riki, just some general rules. I'm going to play a clip right now, and I'm going to kind of just commentate how I'm playing it, just so you get a little bit of a mind of how a Riki sort of plays in the, I guess, the most easiest form to understand. So, in this clip, I'm going to be TPing into a fight after I pick up these boundary runes. TPing a fight, I'm going to see that the ES has the biggest kill threat here, along with a Rubik, and they're both going to the right side of the fight by themselves. And the ones that can kill me, which are the Abba and the Tiny, are on the left. Right here, I'm obviously going to jump the Earthshaker. He's out of position. He's away from his team. The focus point is on the left towards the fountain. I'm going to jump the Rubik because he's the next in line, with no one able to connect to help him. I don't overstay my welcome, and I run once I've used my abilities. And this is where you kind of have the downtime for a fight in Riki, where I'm kind of looking of where I can take the next fight when my abilities come up. My abilities have come up, so I'm going to obviously go help my Warlock here. There's no kill threat on me. I have a smoke, I have tricks, and I have a blink to get out to the DK if I need. I don't use it. Instead, I go to my friends, the trees, block LOS, see that my team's turning it, and re-engage. To focus the point, I run away because I see the tiny shifting towards me with rubble, and I don't want to die in this fight. And I constantly am repositioning, and then I go back in when they've used their spells and seal the deal. Pretty much stuff like that is how you're going to want to play Riki. You don't want to full commit. You want to play around your cooldowns, and when you don't have them, or when the focus is on you, you want to run and disengage if you can. That is pretty much the 101 for Riki, alongside this general rule I'll put up on the screen now, which is the blink 1-1-1 rule, which pretty much means have one blink to go in, save one blink to go out, or tricks, smoke, and you'll get the deal. It takes time. You got to experiment. Don't be afraid to feed your life here and there to learn, because that is the nature of this hero. You're not going to be able to play it perfectly at the start. And if you get that hard learning curve of knowing when to dive out of the way first and lose your MMR at the start, I promise you, you're going to gain a lot more in the future.
Whoa! Whoa!
So now onto the item timing. So pretty much it's pretty simple. I'm going to give you a few rules really quickly right here. And this is going to be just leading up to the Ags build up, which is the most important thing to kind of, I guess, knuckle down for Riki. But first off, we're going to obviously lane. We're going to get our laning items, and we're going to come out of the lane probably at about 8 minutes with those items in tow. And then we're going to be working towards a defusal. Now in this time, we generally just want to stay in the lane and we want to farm it, or we want to go jungle. We want to pretty much just do both, or do whatever's the most efficient to get gold for the defusal. We're going to be able to TP to fights if they are opportunistic and worth it, but you'll have to judge that for yourself. So once we get the defusal, pretty much instantly as that recipe's coming out to me, I'm going to be looking on the map. And on this video clip right now, you can see I instantly get my defusal and I'm straight to the safe lane. Now this is going to be a lot harder to kill than normal, but in a lot of games, in this time that you're analyzing and watching the map as the recipe comes in, you can kind of find an easy kill generally on the map at all times. So that is the most important thing. Once you get your defusal, instantly TP to a lane if you see an opportunistic, time to get a kill. And if not, just keep farming. And the rule is that generally of each one of these components and the defusal, I will ferry a clarity if possible. If you ferry the clarity and your mana isn't already at 0 or extremely low, I've found out that really you can hit a component with 1 clarity every time. Assuming you don't get arcane boots or anything like that. And you're going to be getting it around at 2 minutes at each time, each component. You're going to ferry out a new clarity, and that's going to give you enough mana to get to the next component without having to return to the base. Returning to the base is probably the last thing we want to do as Riki. We aren't the best farmer, so we have to make sure we stay on the map as long as possible, and going back for mana regen is just going to hurt our Ags timing more. So only go back if you made a successful gank or something like that, or you're at 0 mana and you really have no choice, because we cannot farm without mana. We solely rely on tricks early game to get the stuff done, and without it, we're just kind of lackluster. So pretty much every 2 minutes, we're going to be looking to get a component. And another rule for this is that we want to watch our gold. Sorry, why do I say this? Is because I generally will just show up to a fight whenever, but in the best practice, we should either be showing up to a fight when we have about 700 gold, and we see an easy kill. If we see an easy kill and we have 700 gold, we can TP the fight, get the kill, quick buy it, and if we die, it doesn't matter. Dying in these fights as we lead up to the Ags, if we've just bought a component and our gold is low, is the best way to do it, because we do not want to harm the timing of the Ags, which will happen if we go to a fight with if we just haven't just bought a component and we've got maybe 800 gold, and then we die and then we lose it and we lose time, etc. You can see how that will impact the game. So pretty much with this, we're looking to look for fights between the defusal and the Ags, and we're also going to be super efficient with how we build the components. So every component, we want to try and ferry out a clarity if we need it as well, to alleviate our mana need and our so we don't have to return the base, and then we can get to the next timing, which is the next component, get a clarity, and repeat until we get the Ags. Once we get the Ags, our game is completely secured. Even in the hardest of games, we can still find farm on the map, as we pretty much farm perma in Viz. So for the Riki decision tree, I'm going to put it real quickly and real simply. This is something that you can actually pretty much follow in every single game until you're completely comfortable with the hero. All of these items are going to serve you well in these scenarios. So first off, we have the start, which is obviously the starting items that we're covered. And then we go into the diffusal. And then we kind of, during that time that we get the diffusal, we kind of seeing how the game's playing out. If the game's playing out really hard, it's extremely dire in the sense that we need to show up the fights to just have a hope at winning them, then we're probably going to lean towards the extremely dire game if we think they're going to be pushing our high ground around that 22-minute mark, and by then, Ags just isn't going to simply do enough. So we're going to probably go for the Revenants, or the Shard if it's a good Shard game, or the Mana, and then we can go back for the Ags if we've kind of, pushed the game back and we've stabilized. We can go for the Ags as a third item, farm up, or we double down and we go for the Nullifier if we need it, because generally they'll be building save and stuff. If we have a good game, then we're always going to go Ags. And if we think we can delay the game through cutting waves and all that jazz, then we'll go for the Ags as well. Pretty much, we're only going to go for the other option, the non-Ags option, if we need to fight to hold the game. If we don't, go the Ags, or if we can hold the game through the Ags, go the Ags. Then we're going to ask the question, is the Shard good? Yes or no? Obviously, if it is, we're going to get it after the Ags. And if it's not, we're just going to skip it and we'll get it later, or we'll get it from Tormentor when it arises. If they start building a lot of 4-staffs in the mid-game, stuff like that, then you just pick it up. It's just something like that. It's reactionary, or it just depends on the heroes they're playing. If we need to dispel after the Ags, we'll go it. Most likely, this is going to be a Manta always. BKB, we can lack a lot of damage if we go this a third item. So I'd highly suggest going against it unless you know you need it and the game is simply unplayable for you without it. If we do go for one of those items, then we're either going to back it up with a Nullifier once we get 4-star save items, etc., or we're going to go back for a cost-effective Disperser. Generally, this ties in well with the Manta. It just allows you to reposition the fights, move around, and give you damage. Or you can go for the Revenants here. And if we don't need a defensive item, well, then we're going to look through to the other side, or it's a very hard game where we need to kill someone and no one's bringing damage to the table. And if we do go that sort of defensive item, we won't be able to kill them. Then we look to these options, and that's going to be the Revenant's Brooch. If they have very high physical damage reduction, then we're going to go for the Revenants. If they don't, or it's it's even, we're going to definitely go towards the Daedalus. Or if we really, really need it with the Shard, then we can sometimes pick up a Nullifier as our third item, just to really secure the kills in the smoke and pretty much create this all-in with the team that we can take out their carrier or whoever is the biggest threat. Then we're probably going to back it up with a Manta. That's pretty general. I feel like I come back to the Mana as a fourth item a lot. Generally, the fourth item for me is the defensive item, and Mana is usually the answer for that. Otherwise, that pretty much sums it up as the most simplest decision tree when it comes to itemizing on Riki. After these items, it becomes super game dependent that I can't really give you a generalized thing, and you're going to have to, decide what works for yourself. If you're wondering where Battle Fury is never bought on Riki. It's a troll item. Even against illusions, it's just not good. You just rather have another damage item, unless, I don't know, maybe a Peel, but Peel doesn't even exist anymore, and even then, I don't think you need it for him. So, that is it.
There it is. One more! Oh, you pathetic fuck. Oh. Oh, where's he going? Oh. Might be. Oh, the high ground. Get in there, mate. Get in there. Who has the chat? Coming. I'm here.